On the eastern side of the island, in the Money Pit area. Gary. Oh. A lot of wood. Following the collapse of their first caisson target, TB1 Rick Lagina and other members of the team are anxiously monitoring the excavation of their next target, called AC1, where a potentially important discovery has been made some 100 feet underground. Rick. Look at that. Gary. We hit the jackpot with wood. That looks like an old timber. Rick. There you go. All right, we're hitting something, right? Terry. Yeah. Rick. Okay. We're at 96 with the dig. So what's this wood telling us? Gary. Looks like we busted through a tunnel. Narrator. A possible tunnel located nearly 100 feet deep? Gary. That's impressive, isn't it? Terry. Very impressive. The team was not expecting to encounter man-made workings until they reached the mysterious cave at a depth of 145 feet. Terry. Can you give me a hand? Gary. Yep. This raises two critical questions. Have they merely discovered a structure that was built by previous searchers? Or have they found a tunnel built by someone who buried treasure deep in the Money Pit area? Gary. That looks hand-hewn, doesn't it? Rick. Yeah. You can feel it. Gary. These timbers look really old. Rick. Yeah. Gary. And there's no iron fasteners in it, which is interesting. I think that's an older construction. Rick. Yeah. Gary. Any ideas what tunnel this would be? Rick. No. Not with wood exhibiting those characteristics. Gary. Yeah. Could be really old. Narrator. Is it possible that the team has intercepted a tunnel that was constructed by someone in order to hide something of great value long ago? And if so, could it be related in some way to Aladdin's cave? Gary. More wood, Rick. My gut feeling and your gut feeling says this is some kind of old tunnel. Sometimes you've got to go with your gut, and we're both hungry for treasure. Laughs. Gary. Hopefully, it's around this tunnel. Rick. Maybe. Maybe. The guys are really excited about finding this wood, indicating a possible previously unknown tunnel. It could be critically important. As Dr. Spooner says, the treasure will not materialize in solid soil. There has to be a structure associated with it. Terry. Hey Scott, how are you doing? Scott. Hey guys, we're just finishing up our spoils down there by the wash table, and this beautiful spike came out of those spoils. Gary. Ooh, that's nice. Scott. Look at the head on that thing. Gary. That's really, really old. Scott. That's nice. Gary. If I was guessing, I would say 1600s or even older. Scott. Wow. Gary. Yeah, definitely. It goes back. Rick. That's beautiful. Gary. That's bloody gorgeous. I would never expect them to find that in the spoils coming out of that tunnel. Rick. No. Gary. The tunnel wood. It had no fasteners. This must have come out of something else. Can you imagine that in the side of a chest? Or a lid of a chest? Terry. Sounds good to me. Narrator. Could Gary Drayton be correct? That this spike might not only date back to the 17th century or earlier, but also be related to a possible container? If so, what else might the team find at the bottom of Aladdin's cave? Narrator. The following morning. Rick. We are in AC1 and between 90 and 110 feet, lo and behold, a spike was found. In the war room, Rick and Marty Legina, along with other members of the team, are meeting once again with Emma Culligan. Emma is about to share her scientific report on the iron spike that was recovered one day ago inside a mysterious tunnel during the excavation of the AC1 shaft. Rick. Emma, I'll turn it over to you. Emma. Okay, well, first off, the XRMs, CT scans of the nail. We see the wood-like grain structure, so it is wrought iron. We see the striking of the different angles of the head, which it does indicate that it is a rose head. Cross-section is square, means it's hand-forged, not machine-cut. And the composition, it's really minimal. We have a lot of sulfur and phosphorus content, which indicates more of a likely English origin. We see a potassium content throughout, which does indicate that it's a charcoal-fueled furnace and not coal. So all of these combined give it a most recent date of mid-1700s, and possibly earlier. Marty. Great. Scott. That's crazy. Gary. It's amazing. Rick. Yeah. Marty. That's great. What other data do we have? Scott. We've got some data from an old English metal detectorist, Marty. Marty. I don't know how trustworthy that might be, but go ahead. Scott. Emma. You said pre-1750s. Emma. I'm saying 1750s, but could be earlier, yeah. Gary. I found a lot of these. When you see this thick, chunky spike with that big rose head on that, that's an oldie. You go anywhere in Europe, you see this type of iron spike in cabinets, doors, and chests. Rick. Gary. That could have easily come out of a treasure chest. This is your typical 1600s spike. Marty. I like 1600s. That is exciting. Marty. This spike could be an important clue. And it could be either pointing to an early recovery effort or perhaps original deposit. Doug. Yeah, there are several theories that fit that time frame, 1600s into 1750. Marty. Yeah. Doug. It could well be William Phipps. Rick. When you say 1600s, it fits the timeline for Sir William Phipps.